Is I can find the volume of a rectangular prism by using a formula. Over the last 2 weeks, we've been looking at volume pictorially. We've been counting cubes, seeing how many cubes take up a particular space in a rectangular prism. We have looked at cubes and apply the formula, volume equals length times width times height. Today, we're going to apply that same concept, except we're going to look at it through a word problem. We're going to look at the word problem and apply the formula, length times width times height. We're going to draw it pictorially by showing a rectangular prism, listing the dimensions, and then seeing how much space is taken up inside of that rectangular prism. Here's our first problem for today. The problem says, Mrs. Gordon is constructing a box in the shape of a rectangular prism to store shoes for the summer. It has a length of 24 inches, a width of 21 inches, and a height of 40 inches. What is the volume of the box? Before we begin, I want to take some time and just highlight some important information that are important in order to solve. So one thing that I know is important is that, well, we're looking at the box, and the box is in the shape of a rectangular prism. That means that it's not a flat shape. It's a three-dimensional shape, right? The object can take up space inside of the box. That means things can go inside of the box. The box has depth. It also says the dimensions of the box. It says the length is 24 inches, the width is 21 inches, and the height is 40 inches. And the question proceeds to ask, what is the volume of the box? So we have to figure out, well, with all these dimensions listed, how much can actually fit inside of this box? I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture of what this box possibly looks like. I'm going to go ahead, and here is my box. And my box is simply going to show the length, the width, and the height. As you can see, I listed the dimensions of the box. 24 inches length, 21 inches width, and 40 inches is the height. Now I'm going to go ahead and write down the volume formula that we would typically use to find out the volume of this rectangular prism. What is the formula for volume? If you selected volume is equal to length times width times height, you're absolutely correct. Now I'm going to go ahead and write in my equation using the information that was given in the problem. What would my equation be to find the volume of this box? If you selected volume is equal to 24 times 21 times 40, you're absolutely correct. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the equation and all the numbers that are plugged in to find the volume of the box. So I'm first going to multiply 24 times 21. Now in class, we used a partial product to multiply 2 or 3 digit numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and use that same method as we do in class. So I'm going to go ahead and write 24 times 21. The first thing I'm going to do is break apart 21. 21 can be broken apart into 20 and 1. So I'm going to multiply 24 times 20 and then 24 times 1. Okay? Now I'm going to multiply the numbers on the bottom by all the numbers on top. We know with 0 times any number is always going to give us 0, so I could just drop my 0 down. Now I could go ahead and multiply this 2 by 4 and then the 2 by 2. We know 4 times 2 is going to give us 8, and then 2 times 2 is going to give us 4. So 24 times 20 gives us 480. Now I'm going to multiply 24 times 1. I'm going to multiply my 1 by all the numbers at the top. So I know 4 times 1 is 4, and then 2 times 1 is 2. 480 and 24, those are my partial products. So in order to get my answer, I'm going to have to take these two numbers and add them together to get my actual product. So I'm going to go ahead and do 480 plus 24. All right, 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 2 is 10. And then 4 plus 1 is 5. So I know 24 times 21 is 504. And I'm going to go ahead and plug that into my equation. So 24 times 21 was 504. Now I'm going to take 504 and multiply it by 40. Because I want to make sure I'm finding the volume. I want to make sure I'm multiplying all my numbers. So again, I'm going to go ahead and multiply 504 times 40. So I got to multiply my length, width, and height. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the bottom. Remember, you want to show all your calculations. So I'm going to do 504 times 40. The 40 we don't have to break apart. It's already, a two-digit number with a 0 at the end, so we don't have to break it apart. So again, 0 times any number is going to give us 0, so we could just take our 0 and bring it down. Now I'm going to multiply the 4 by all the numbers at the top. So I'm going to do 4 times 4 equals 16. I'm going to write my 6, and then I'm going to regroup the 1. Then 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 will give us 1. And then 5 times 4 is 20. So we're going to go ahead and write our 20. So we have that 504 is actually equal to 20,160. And that would be the volume. And I'm going to go ahead and write my unit of measurement. Our unit of measurement was inches. So it's 20,160 cubic inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and state my answer in a complete sentence. So the question asked originally, what is the volume of the box? The volume of the box is 20,160 cubic inches. All right. Now, let's you try it out. Here I have this problem. A rectangular prism tank measures 29 centimeters by 25 centimeters by 33 centimeters. What is the volume of the box? Let's check to see if you got the answer correct. So you should have underlined it or highlighted the important information. All right, it's a rectangular prism, and the dimensions of the box, so you could have drew a picture, right, and said the length is 29 centimeters, the width is 25 centimeters, and the height is 33 centimeters. You should have also written that volume is equal to length times width times height. Volume is equal to length is 29 times width is 25, and the height is 33. All right, so the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is 29 times 25. I'm going to do the calculations down at the bottom. 29 times 25. Remember, we could break apart 25 into 20 and 5. So we're going to go ahead and do the calculations here. So 29 times 20. And then we'll go ahead and do 29 times 5. Okay. We have 0 here. We know 0 times any number is 0. Now we could go ahead and do 9 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18. Write my 8, carry my 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and do 29 times 5. 9 times 5 is 45. See, gotta write my 5 at the bottom. It's 45. Regroup. And then I gotta do 5 times 2. Remember, I'm multiplying by all the numbers up top. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 14. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Okay, now I'm going to take my two partial products, which was 580 and 145, and I'm going to add them together. 580 plus 145. All right, 0 plus 5 is 5. 8 plus 4 is 12. 5 plus 1 is 7. So we know 29 times 25 is 725. Now I got to multiply that times 33. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 725 times 33. Okay, remember when we're doing that, we need to break apart 33 into 30 and 3. So just to remind you, so when we do 725 times 33, we want to break it apart into 30 and 3. So we're going to go ahead and multiply 725 times 30, and then 725 times 3. All right. 0 times any number is going to give us 0, so we're going to go ahead and bring down the 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 3 by all the numbers up top. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15. I regroup. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And then 7 times 3 is 21. Now I'm going to go ahead and do 5 times 3. 5 times 3 equals 15. Remember, I'm going to multiply the 3 by all the numbers up top. So that's 15. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 2 is also 6, plus 1 is 7. And then 3 times 7 is 21. Now I'm going to take these two numbers, my partial products here, and I'm going to add it together. I'm going to add 21,750 plus 2,175. And that gives me, all right, that gives me 23,925. So I know my volume for this prism is 23,925. Now I'm going to go ahead and state my answer. The volume of the tank is 23,925 cubic centimeters.